Christopher, good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon. I'm all right, thank you.
So, welcome to the latest Facebook Live, where the aim is to bring value to business owners around the globe on topics that could be useful to them right now in the current situation, but also in the ongoing future. So, Chris, thank you very much for agreeing to take part in the live chat today.
All right.
Please introduce yourself and also to your business, please.
Yes. So, thanks for having me on. It's going to be an interesting discussion. So, my name's Chris, and I'm director of Eagle Design. So, Eagle Design is a creative studio, and I specialise in branding design, graphic design, web design, and videography.
Amazing. So, what made you get into design in the first place? What started you off on this journey?
I guess I've always been sort of creating. I've always looked at things in a creative kind of way. I think, I mean, even going back to sort of like school days, it was either become a professional footballer, which was never going to happen, or get into some kind of creative design. So all of my work experiences were all based around design. It was always at a design studio in Birmingham. So I always had that sort of kind of creative thing. So yeah, it was always going to happen really in the design field.
Cool. I like it. Interested. So there's not going to be an age gag here going on, obviously, but
Yes, yeah.
you obviously must have seen some changes in the world of design then over the last few years, or the last period of time since you left school.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, trends come and trends go. But I think as well as that, I've seen, the technical side of things change. I mean, obviously I don't look old enough to sort of say that, but I am, yeah. So, but yeah, definitely, especially now, obviously with the technical, the website company and digital media, I've seen it, yeah, go from one extreme to another. So yeah, definitely seen a lot of changes come through.
So I'm conscious of the fact we've got quite a wide audience, and I've had a number of questions come into me over the last couple of days since I started talking about doing this. So if you're going to have all levels of experience, some people are really, really, all over it, shit hot. Probably shouldn't swear on this about design, and people who are complete novices. What is design in a simplistic view?
So for me, I think the way to answer it is design is making something look visually better, but also for a purpose. I think I don't want to say that everybody can do it because it's a specialized thing to do. But if you look at something, you can make it look better if you're just tweaking something. But it's also making it better for a purpose. And I think that's the difference. If you're thinking about sort of rebranding something, I think that's where the expertise can come in. I think it's not just about making it look better for the sake of it. The research that behind a design can be as effective as the actual end product because it is doing it for a particular purpose.
Okay, so here's where we hit it now. So as you know, design has been very important and on my mind over the last few weeks. So we've been talking about the branding for Minerva Grove. So talk me through how you developed my branding for Minerva Grove, which I'm probably going to launch out tomorrow or next week. Talk me through how it was created.
So originally it was a case of, obviously I know what you do well. We work well together on various projects. So I knew what you did anyway. So it was creating something that portrays what you do, but also modernizing your brand to start with. So you've got a brand and a look already. And through discussions, we both of us just sort of felt that it was quite old and quite dated. So naturally, it's just coming up with something that is going to look nice and fresh and new, but also, as I said before, the purpose of something has to be there. So it was creating something that portrays your business as well. So it was just a case of coming up with some different ideas, and an idea that I presented to you and a look and feel was basically a channel for us to go down. We both sort of, when we looked at it, I know what you sort of said. Part of it, you felt it was looking like mountains rather than a graph, because what the idea behind it was that the M in Minerva Growth was going to create like a graph, but it wasn't quite working. But once we got to the stage of we liked that idea, then we could sort of put that forward and develop it even further. And that's where the part of the M of going up is pointing towards business growth, and that's where it sort of came from.
It's been very interesting, as you know. I was playing around with it the other day on social media, and the amount of interaction we've had across 3 different social media channels, and the amount of input. People get so involved in design, and people are very emotive, and people get so emotional and so opinionated about it. Now, I went into that knowing I was going to go with one of them. I'm not going to say which one it is. I was going to go with one of them that was in my mind. I then switched it. I started looking at the comments going, oh, seriously? Yeah, it's I get that. That makes a lot of sense. But then we had someone else who picked it up, another designer, Jamie up in Leeds. I've already thanked you a million. I owe you a beer when I'm next in Leeds, and thank you so much for what you did. This guy took it and did his own spin on it and just opened it up to a different level. We hadn't even thought about it ourselves.
Yeah.
And then the minute I looked at it, it was like, oh my God, seriously? So we've then taken that other creative input and then taken that a step further to the final design we got to today.
And that's so it. Cool. That's it. And sometimes, you know, you can look at something and you can almost you can overlook at it sometimes. You think, oh, you know, but actually then a fresh pair of eyes straight away can come in and just, it was only a subtle change, wasn't it? It was only really slight, but actually what it did, it just really took it onto the next level. And that's how it is sometimes. Sometimes you have to step away. And actually that the options you gave on and people were voting for, I thought it was going to go down one road all the way. But there was other people voting. And I was thinking, maybe it's not as clear cut as we both thought. And then when option 3 came along,
it was very level. The end results across all 3 channels was ridiculously level. And I didn't think that would be, I expected it to be 80-20 easily, but it was so like 51-49 or something as close as that. It was ridiculous all the way through.
Yeah. It was a lot closer than I thought.
It's very interesting. I mean, we've had this conversation a number of times. You know what I'm like. I get very impatient very, very quickly. I want to get on with results and start taking action really quickly. And to me, it's like, you know, fuck it. I want the designers to get on with it. But actually, you know, I could have dilly-dallied with that for weeks and months and made no changes. But actually, in pretty much just over a week, I know it's been a bit more work for you than me. But it's turned around to look really, really good. So I really appreciate your support on that.
Yeah.
So. The $1 million question, what the whole topic is around today, the subject is, why is design so critical for business?
Well, I think first of all, it's all about sticking out and being ahead of your competition.
Okay.
You know, if you're especially if you're in a market where it's so overcrowded, you can easily get lost. And you can become insignificant in this market, and you know, each design is different, and there's not saying that if someone comes up with something new, they're all of a sudden going to jump to the top of the pile. But I think it is all about standing out and being noticed in that sector that you're in. And if you're not being noticed, okay, you might get work, and it is important to get work, and the best, you know, they say the best way about it is, you know, word of mouth, and that's the best form of advertising. But if you've got a really strong brand and a really strong design behind it as well, it gives your clients who you're trying to win almost that secure and almost that like vision of like, actually, not only have they been recommended, but they're also looking really sharp, looking really good. You know, is that the way that company really operates because they look like this? I think it's an overall package and an overall feeling of confidence.
I like that. Great answer. So from a novice's point of view, and I do think I'm quite a novice on the design side of it, what's the best way to get started? Anyone's watching this or tuning in with this today, they've got a business out there, maybe not really thought about design before, maybe this conversation will spur something on in their head. What's the best way to get started?
Well, I mean, talk to a designer is always a good start.
Absolutely, seriously, good option.
Because I think, as I said, we said sort of previously, I mean, everybody can improve anything, but I think the experience you get from talking to a designer just adds that weight behind it as well. Because a designer can look at something, like we've said before, option 3 in your logo was something that, you know, was so simple, but it added, you know, and that came from another designer. And I think if you're looking to get started, I think, first of all, do your research of what your competitors are doing. and then bring that to a designer to say, look, we really want to go in this direction. We really want to sort of push into a new market, a new area. How can we do it? Our company is, maybe it's a bit old, a bit stagnant, but we want to become like a real sort of like fresh, take a fresh approach on things. And then sit with the designer and chat about it, have a discussion about it, let them put their thoughts towards it. And it might just really spark something off that can be sort of really useful for your company moving forward.
Really good. I think the other thing I'd say, and we've touched on it a couple of times already in this conversation, is that design is very, very personal. It's got to, as a business owner, it's got to mean something to me. And if I've got no connection with my own brand, how the hell is anyone else going to have connection with it?
Yeah,
so it's extremely personal. And I said to you, some people don't like the colours in the green and blue. And someone literally called out the other day. So how dare you? Those are my colours. I love those colours. They're everywhere. There's always been a theme. So you've got to be able to have pride in what you've got, and also it's got to be really personal. If you're not connected with yourself, you haven't got any hope in hell of getting any of your audience, your prospects, or clients.
And that's it. A designer could come up with like something amazing, but if it doesn't fit you or it doesn't fit the company brand, then there's no point running with it, because if you're not happy with something, you won't use it and you won't sell it. So if you're not happy with your overall look and feel of the brands, you need to almost move away from it and do something else, start again, because you just won't use it. You won't want to promote it.
Love that. Cool. Okay, so are there any particular pitfalls people got to be careful about, or think, falling down? Is there any advice you can give them around that?
Yeah, I think do it properly. I think is the main thing. I think if you mate down the road, can sort of say, oh, I can knock something together, but they're just not a designer, but they just think they can come across something and put it together, then you're never going to be fully satisfied. And it comes back to the point we just made. You've got to get it done right and get it done properly. And now, with the situation we're in, it's the perfect and the ideal time for companies to take that step back and think, what direction are we going in? Do we want to do something a little bit different? And that's where the conversations can be sparked and come together.
That's a good point, especially in the current climate. People have got a bit more time on their hands. This is the time to get into this kind of stuff.
I'm doing it with my stuff as well. It's, sometimes it's difficult as a designer to do your own work because you're busy doing everyone else's, and it is a personal thing. But I'm trying to spend this time doing a new portfolio to send out to new clients. And to existing clients as well, and because some of my existing clients might not know the full spectrum of what we do and what I do, and it's worth sort of really pushing the boundaries and telling people what we do.
It's that old adage, isn't it? The painter's house is the one with the peeling windows, or the roof with the leaking roof, and whatever else. But absolutely, it's very, very true.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's next for Eagle Design? What are you working on at the minute? What type of projects are you looking for?
So at the moment, I'm working on a couple of web projects. One's for an existing client. I rebranded a lot of their web stuff. Came up with a bit of a brand project. It was about 5-6 years ago. But it's just time for a refresh on the website. That they do a whole load more stuff than they did 5 years ago. So I'm working on that for a logistics company. I'm also working on a fitness website, someone doing online fitness courses and stuff like that. So I'm working on that. A couple of little branding projects. Still doing some video work because we pre-recorded before the lockdown, so we now can sort of edit that and get all that done. So yeah, it is still working, still battling through, and coming out the other side, we'll be stronger for it.
Fair play. So if people watching this want to catch up with you or get further information about Eagle Design, what you guys do, what's the best way of getting in contact? How can people find out more information? There's your dog.
There's the dog. We knew it was going to happen.
This is yours and not mine.
Yeah,
yours are working from home.
Exactly, yeah.
So come on in. How can people find out further information about Eagle
So obviously they can go to the website, which is www.eagledesign.net. So you can log on to there, see the type of projects we do. As I say, we are updating it with some fresh work and all that kind of stuff. So, but also this PDF document that I've done, I guess either drop me an email to studio@eagledesign.net, or go onto one of the social media, say Facebook, and DM me a message, and I'll get that sent out to you. And that just gives a bit of an overview of the components that we do. So branding, design, websites, and videography.
Cool. Okay. Amazing. Anything else you want to add about dropping on the spot? I'll just say I appreciate your time. It's really good having an insight into you working from home and seeing you there in front of the fireplace. It's like a real snapshot into your world. The dog barking in the background.
Exactly. Yeah, it is.
Your bag of M&Ms on the table. You know.
Yes.
So anything else? Anything else you want to add?
Yeah, not really. I think just to reiterate, I think I think it's important to get things right, and if you can get things right at the beginning, then
He's done so well for 21 minutes.
We've nearly done it. We have nearly done it. So yeah, I think just get things right, get things right at the beginning, and you'll just find naturally it will just flow throughout to different. If you can get your brand right, different flyers and brochures will all sort of follow through because you've got the beginning right. So
okay, and yeah, just thank you again for your time. As I've said already, right. I will be pushing out my brand new logo. I'll do it this afternoon so people can see, and it brings a bit more context to what we're talking about here. And I'll put on the other two designs we're talking about. I don't think I've got all the others we discussed, but I'll show people how it's gone through to where the new design is. Don't give me any negative feedback about the design. I don't care. I'm not interested anymore.
Yeah,
I love
too
it,
late
and
now.
it's going live. So
it's
absolutely, your opinions aren't counted anymore.
Yeah.
But good to see you. Good to have you catch up. Good to see the inside of the the Morrison household there.
I'd rather be in my office, but because I'm trying to homeschool as well, I've moved to the dining room to keep an eye on them as well.
So tough. But anyway, listen, keep up the good work, and we'll speak soon. Appreciate it.
All right,
Thank you.
Brilliant. Cheers.